bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. Alright. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you, just for you.
Welcome to our Grower Direct live flash sale, and today what we've got is we've got a really great range of plants, and their plants this is our most affordable sale ever. So if you're on a bit of a budget and maybe you're putting a garden together on a house to sell, maybe you're just fixing up your own garden, maybe you've got a new property to develop, maybe you're in the trade, you're a landscaper or something like that. What we've got is we've put together our most affordable plants, and you've got such a range of plants that anybody could do their whole garden from this range. We're putting up 100 plants for sale. Over the next 2 hours we're going to put up 100 plants, and those 100 plants are going to be the most affordable ever, and a kind of a complete range so that anybody can put together a garden using the plants that we've got. And let's start with the first one. So what we've got here is Abelia Kaleidoscope. Now, Abelia Kaleidoscope, normally $20 each. It's a patented plant, normally quite expensive. A great source of colour. Have a look at the beautiful colour you got here. Now, what's great about these, I use these a lot in my landscaping jobs, or my landscape garden design jobs. And what it is with these is that they give you colour every day of the year. Some plants flower beautifully and then the flowers drop off and you've got no colour. With the Kaleidoscope, you've got beautiful colours all year round. Actually, if you have a look at the label here, I'll show you that label there, it shows you the colours that you have all year round. So Abelia Kaleidoscope, and we've got them normally $19.90. You'll find anywhere you go to buy them, because they're a PBR plant. Because they're a PBR plant, you'll find that they're always quite expensive. We've got them from $19.90 down to $14.99. Really good value. Great source of colour every day of the year. Now, what we've got, now the thing is if you wanted to buy any of these plants, or check out the specials we've got. If you scan this one here, or you go to hellohello.com.au, or even ring up an order, or come down the nursery, come down and pick up some plants. But here we've got Peter Pan, Agapanthus Peter Pan. Now this is a lovely dwarf agapanthus, great for a border, has a pretty little leaf on it, lovely little flowers for months and months. These have been flowering almost since Christmas time. They're at Agapanthus Peter Pan, normally $8.99, now $6.99. So $6.99 Peter Pan Agapanthus, great value. At $6.99 you can afford to make a whole border of them, no worries at all. Now here we've got Agapanthus Tall Blue. Now this is the great big one, the Aussie classic, you know, the old farmhouse and the Agapanthus around. This is probably the most unkillable plant that you can buy. So you can put these almost anywhere. Put them up the path, round the shed, round whatever you like. Lush foliage and big round balls of blue flower for quite a few months around Christmas time. So Agapanthus Tall Blue, normally $22.99, now they're only $14.99. So $14.99 for Tall Blue Agapanthus. Now here we've got the pink Brachyscome. So pink Brachyscome, beautiful pink Brachyscome. This is this seems to flower 365 days a year. Lovely little pink flowers. I'll give you a look at that. Look at that, pink flowers. Now in your local nursery you probably find these at $12 or $14 each. We normally sell them for $9.99, but at this our affordable sale they're only $5.99. So $5.99. Now here we've got 8-inch pot English box. Now 8-inch pot, nice big bushy ones like this, normally cost you around $20. These ones here we normally sell them for $16.99, which is a great cheap price, but this week only they're going to be $10.99. $10.99. If you plant 4 or 5 of these to the metre with a spring growth and a little trim, you'll have a beautiful hedge. Now here we've got a English box topiary ball. Here we've got an English box topiary ball, and this one here is a 16-inch. It's and normally anywhere you'd be paying $300 for and so this would be a 10 or 12-year-old box ball, and this would be a 10 or 12-year-old box ball. At any rate, these are only $99. That'd be the cheapest nice big English box ball you get anywhere in Melbourne. You could go out, and I defy anyone, you go out and hunt around all day and you won't get cheaper box balls than this. So $99 for an English box ball, great value. Now let's talk about how the customers can obtain these plants. Right, so what you can do to obtain these plants, you can scan on this QR code here, or you can go to hellohello.com.au, or you can just ring up and say, look, those English box balls, give me half a dozen of them. You can just ring up and buy them, or you could come down here. You can come down here and you can come down and just come in and pick them up. So now what we've got here is we've got Japanese box. Now Japanese box has a different colour and a different texture actually have a look on here, and the other thing is it's much faster growing. Say you wanted a box hedge, that was sort of anywhere between 1 or 2 metres in height. Your Japanese box is fast growing. It's really tough. Grow almost anywhere. It's a lighter colour and a different texture to your normal box, and I know sometimes because they're a bit in fashion at the moment they can be very expensive. Our normal price on these is pretty cheap. It's $10.99, but right now these are $5.99. So if you need 100 or whatever you need, now's the time to jump in and get them. So they're only $5.99.
Chris,
so, yeah.
We have William McFly on TikTok who has asked, what vegetables would you recommend for Melbourne at this time of the year?
Right, you could be looking at silver beet, spinach. You could be planting a bit of rocket for a bit of winter salad. So silver beet, spinach, rocket. Rocket's good at this time of year because you get a long life out of it. Broad beans are really good to put in right now. So it's all your sort of green stuff that's good to put in right now.
Excellent.
Now here we've got Karl. Look at this amazing grass here. This grows 6 foot tall. If you want a grass as a main feature in the garden, this one here is called Calamagrostis, funny name, Karl Foster, and normally they're $15. We've got these ones here for $9.99. So $9.99, and you can pop a few of these through the gardens and give your garden a really exciting and exotic flavour. They're hardy, and they have those beautiful plumes on them. They have beautiful plumes on them in the summertime. Now,
Chris, we have After Din, who's on Instagram, and has asked, have we got any 16-inch Chinese dogwoods?
no, but we could certainly, if he contacts us, I've got one of my mates has got a patch of them growing in his nursery, and I can tee up a good deal for him on one of those. No worries at all.
All right, so give us a call on 9359 331 9359 331, and we can put together an order for you, especially.
Yeah, and the thing is, in terms of buying offers, when you spend over $300, you got free delivery from Tarragona right through to Bendigo, Ballarat, right down to the Surf Coast, Geelong. We've got free delivery over most of the well-inhabited parts of Victoria, right up to Shepparton. So free delivery when you spend over $300. And you can buy online. You can scan this here and go in there and order your plants. Or just get on the phone or come on down. We've got the fullest nursery in Victoria. Like, there's just stock everywhere. The main question the staff ask me when another load comes in is, where are we going to put it?
And also, Chris, we've got questions coming in on TikTok to say, asking, where do we ship?
Where do we ship? Well, we ship with other carriers. We ship up into New South Wales and Gold Coast and all over the place. So we ship all over the place, but with our own vehicles, with our own fleet, we have a fleet of 6 vans and 2 trucks, and we ship up as far as Sale and Bensdale, right up to the New South Wales border, and right across into the Western District. So we ship over most of Victoria, and we ship free out as far as down to the Surf Coast, Geelong and the Surf Coast. We shipped Ballarat, Bendigo, Shepparton, and right out to Tarragona. We're shipping all of that area for free when you spend over $300.
That's pretty good.
And it's a funny thing. It feels more like we've got 20 vans, because almost any time I take a long drive anywhere, like I was driving down to Phillip Island the other day, and I saw one of my vans shoot past, and almost anywhere I go, I'll see one of our vans. We've got that. The only good photo I ever took is on the side of those vans, and they're beautifully sign written with hello, hello, and free delivery on the side. But anyway, here what we've got is we've got Carex Evergold. Now, if you wanted a grass that doesn't go to seed, a grass that gives you a brilliant colour every day of the year, and a grass with a beautiful weepy effect, so for a bit of colour, this would look beautiful with a beautiful red Japanese maple, go great in a Japanese garden. And this is called Evergold, and they're normally $8.99, and right now they're $5.99. So $5.99 and a bit of Evergold. For Evergold in the garden for $5.99, it's a crazy price. If you went to a wholesaler and buy on wholesale, you wouldn't get these for $5.99. Fabulous value. Now, this is a fabulous plant. This is your golden Diosma. Pink flowers in springtime, beautiful golden foliage. You can grow it into a hedge, you can grow it into a ball, you can grow it natural, you can do whatever you like. It's very, very tough. You can grow it almost anywhere. So grow this almost anywhere. Golden Diosma, normally $10.99. These are $5.99 for golden Diosma. So $5.99 for golden Diosma. Fabulous value.
Chris, Joga66 is on, Joga1966 is on TikTok and has asked, have we got any Banksias? We absolutely do.
If you went down to our native section, I reckon there's 30 different types of Banksias. My favourite is the birthday candles. It's beautiful Banksia. Lovely, small, compact little bush, beautiful candles on it, but really, really good. But right now, what I've got here, so come down and have a look. I reckon we'd have one of the best range of Banksias. Our native nursery out the back is about the size of, our little native section is about the size of most native nurseries. It'd have, I don't know, it'd have 8,000 or 9,000 plants in it. Incredible range. So here we've got Dioides Wild, and good prices too. So here you've got Dioides Wild Iris. This is the one with the big white flowers. There they are there. Beautiful white flowers, really, really tough. I reckon this is even tougher than an Agapanthus. I said Agapanthus was the toughest thing around, but I think this is even slightly tougher than the Agapanthus. It grows, has beautiful white flowers, lovely green foliage, and what's interesting is where the Agapanthus only flowers for 6 or 7 weeks, this one here will flower. It starts flowering in the middle of September and it flowers through into the end of May. So really, really long flowering, beautiful white flowers. And the other thing I like is that the foliage stays erect. So it's, you know, if you put it up the side of a driveway, the foliage doesn't tend to flop onto the driveway. So wild iris, normally $10.99, now $6.99. So $6.99 for wild iris. That's great value. Now here's one of my favourite hedges, beautiful dark green foliage, lovely white flowers. Now what's interesting, that's flowering now. This starts flowering in the mid of September and flowers through to end of May into June. And so beautiful, and I reckon, like I laid out a cottage garden for a customer the other day, and I used these along the picket fence along the front, and I think that these go beautiful with the cottage style, with your cottage style garden. They're fast growing, they're tough, they'll take the frost, the heat, the drought, poor soil. Really, really easy to grow and quite quick. You know, you grow a hedge like this in about 18 months and you'd put them in 90 centimetres or a metre apart, and normally they're $24.99. We're doing these ones here for $19.99. So $19.99, nice, healthy, beautiful, lush plants, and you'll have a beautiful hedge in no time at $19.99. Put them maybe 90 centimetres apart. Now here we've got your pink pixie. Now your pink pixie is a cousin of that one you just saw. Now what this does is for 5 or 6 months of the year, this is dotted with beautiful little pink flowers, and it grows into a beautiful dome. Like, it makes the most beautiful dome. So it's a great thing to use, like say if you're looking for a border up the driveway, you pop these in and you put them in 90 centimetres apart, and they'll grow into like a nice row of domes like that. Beautiful glossy green foliage, lovely and healthy and lush looking, grows, take frost, heat, drought, take whatever you dished out, and anyway, they're a great deal. Normally $14.99. Right now these are $9.99. So Escallonia pink pixie, $9.99. Now if you want a hedge that in some ways is better than English box, look at Tom Thumb. Now these Tom Thumbs here, let's talk about the price first of all. These Tom Thumbs here normally $12.99 and now $5.99. $5.99, that's crazy cheap. Now the thing with these is at $5.99 you plant about 4 to the metre, and if you're in a frosty area where box might go purple or brown or something like that in a frosty area, in a frosty area, this stays green and lush all year round. So right through, and in areas that are very, very hot, or even where the water may be a bit of bore water, a little bit on the salty side, where an English box might be in trouble. I've often had customers that are having trouble with English box. We've replaced them with these, and these have grown where English box have failed. So heat, drought, poor soil, frost, takes a lot. Plant 4 to the metre. And right now they're really, really cheap, just $5.99. So $5.99. And also you've got 8-inch ones here. And look at the size, that beautiful size. Now these, if you planted these 4 to the metre, and these ones here have been reduced from $12.99 to $10.99. So $10.99, beautiful big plants for $10.99. So at $10.99, these are fantastic value. Plant 4 to the metre, little trim, spring growth, and you've got an instant Tom Thumb hedge. And I think it's, in many ways, it's better than an English box, and at $10.99 you really can't go wrong. So $10.99, plant 4 to the metre. What a fantastic deal. Now this one here is a knotted club rush, and this is a native plant, and at any rate, we've got these reduced from $12.99 to $5.99, so $5.99. So if you're landscaping a factory, or you just want to get that real natural nativey look in your place, you can't go wrong with these at $5.99. Really good value, $5.99. And great if you're doing some units or something like that. You know, if you've got a big garden to fill and you want something tough and something really, really cheap, you've got your knotted club rush, only $5.99. That's what I said. Today is our most affordable sale ever, because we've really picked a range of things that are really, really, really cheap. So if you've got to put a garden together on a budget, and it's easy to do, you just have to go here where we've got our thingy bob and scan this one here, and you can go there, or you go to hellohello.com.au and click on Grower Direct Flash Sale, and you're there. And you can see all of these specials there, and you can place your orders and get organised. And then remember that we deliver free all the way from Traralgon right through to Geelong, Ballarat, Bendigo, Shepparton, right down the Surf Coast. So we deliver free over most of the really populated parts of Victoria. And so here we'll do the next one.
Chris, we've got Peter Lamb, who's on TikTok, has asked, are hyacinth hybrids a popular plant?
Hyacinth?
Yeah, hyacinth.
Not like they used to be. Like they're still available, and we've even stopped selling them. There's a bit of a lack of interest. But some of the bulb grow, like you've got Blue Dandenong Bulb Farm, and you've got Teslas up in the hills, and you can buy them from there. And I think they're a wonderful thing. That they come up in early spring, and they've got exquisite fragrance. They're a wonderful thing, and you'd go to one of them bulb people, and you can get them. I think the time to buy them sort of like February, March.
Yep.
Once you get after Easter, it's a bit late. Now here we've got a Hebe Emerald Green. So Hebe Emerald Green. Now this is a beautiful natural ball. These look like they've been clipped, but they haven't been clipped. I'll give you a close look at that. They look like they're clipped. And these are nice big advanced ones. You could put these in a row up your garden path or something like that, or put them maybe between some standard ficus or something like that, and you'll get they'll grow into like a half a basketball, or like a round green ball like a half a basketball. And normally they're pretty pricey, normally $25.99. These ones here are only $19.99. Put a half of those, 3 of these up either side of the front path, beautiful. So Hebe Emerald Green, only $19.99. Right, so Hebe Inspiration. Now Hebe Inspiration, this has been one of the most popular Hebes for the last 30 or 40 years. I think it was one, and it's a New Zealand, it comes from New Zealand. And this is great for a hedge. It's great for a sort of a midi sort of hedge, sort of something in this sort of height range like that. Gets covered in purple flowers for months. Lovely, dense, dark green, fine foliage. Very, very tough. No disease or bugs or problems with it. Really easy to grow. And these have been reduced from $14.99 to $10.99. So Hebe Inspiration, only $10.99. Nice big bushy plants. These aren't little 6-inch pots or anything. They're semi-advanced Hebe Inspiration, $10.99.
Now, Chris, with these sale items, you don't want to muck around. If you see what you like, you better get in fast because the numbers are limited. Now, Affidin, who was on Instagram, who asked us about the dogwoods, has already gotten in touch and made a purchase.
Great, terrific. Okay, so, and that's what anybody could do. You could be looking at these lavenders and say, oh, I need a lavender hedge. Now look at these beautiful lavender here. So I'm going to brush them like that and smell them. Beautiful, beautiful, rich lavender smell. These are Lavender Avonview, and Avonview, it's one of your better lavenders. They're all cutting grown. They're not seed grown. The cutting grown ones tend to live longer. So these are cutting grown. They'll be quite long lived. They're great for a hedge sort of in this sort of low to medium range. You'd plant them probably 2.5 to the metre to make a hedge, so that'd be like 40 centimetres apart to make a nice hedge. And they're very, very tough, and they're drought hardy, and these will flower. These will give you beautiful sort of mauvey blue flowers, and they're the blue flowers with you can see it there, they've got the little fairy wings on them. So if you like fairy wings on your lavender, these have got the fairy wings. So you've got the beautiful fairy wings, and they'll start flowering sort of late winter, let's say August, and then they're going to flower right through to Christmas, maybe even a little beyond Christmas. So long flowering, beautiful sort of silver grey foliage, lovely fragrance. Just brush it with your hand, and your hand is beautifully fragrant. And you know, down at your local nursery, lavender can be quite expensive. These ones here are absolutely ridiculous, $5.99. So $5.99. Couldn't even buy a tube in a lot of places for $5.99. These are $5.99. Normally $16. Oh no, it's the wrong thing. Normally $14.99.
Now, Chris, Rabbit Drop Bear is on TikTok and has asked the best time to plant in southern Victoria.
I think the beautiful thing about Victoria, you can plant all year round.
Yep.
And right now you've got warm soil. The rains are just about to come. You've got warm soil. Now is a really good time to plant. My absolute favourite time is probably back in March, but right now is a great time to plant because it's a long time before the hot weather. Plants can get established. Like if you planted these English lavenders here and dug a nice big hole, planted them properly, nice loose soil, they'd start rooting straight away, and you'd have beautiful English lavender moving away fabulously in spring and summer.
Fantastic.
And they'd be hardy for the summer. So now is a great time to plant these English lavender here. Now English lavender is great for fragrance, and if you want to have a bigger lavender, say you want to grow a lavender hedge this tall, English lavender is the go. Lovely bright silver foliage, deep purple flowers. There's the deep purple flowers, no fairy wings, so if you don't like the fairy wings, this is the lavender for you. Now, and what's interesting is that there must be 100 different sorts of lavenders, but here's your English lavender, big lavender, silver foliage, purple flowers. You know, you could use this as your front hedge out the front of your house, and these ones here reduced from $12.99 to $10.99. That's great because a lot of lavenders these days, you go into the nursery, the lavenders are all $16, $17, $18, $19. So these ones here, nice and cheap, they are $10.99.
Chris, Marcus is on Instagram and has asked, he has a couple of questions. What is the best mulch for garden beds to help prevent weeds, and should we lay anything underneath the mulch?
Yeah, look, you can lay, like old bags, for instance, old Hessian bags are really, really good. People use sort of carpet underlay, newspaper can be good, and my favourite mulch is pine bark. Pine bark, well, it's interesting, pine bark is the main ingredient in most potting mixes in Australia, and so your pine bark is really, really good. Things will grow in pine bark, so but it still blocks out the weeds. But if you put something underneath, that really helps blot out the weeds until until the pine bark really takes effect. But what I love best about pine bark is that as it decomposes, it really enriches your soil, whereas some of your mulches sort of almost wreck your soil.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now what we have here is a beautiful plant. I'll give you a close look. This is a leucophyta, and it's a dwarf cushion bush, and it's a beautiful little sort of silver ball, and this is going to grow sort of like a half a basketball in your garden. And I use these all the time in my garden designs because they're so bright and it's so silver, and I'll plant 2 or 3 of these in a garden bed, and then around the garden bed I'll put say something like a Cousin It, which is a lovely dark green contrast. We might even have a Cousin It handy here. A Cousin It with lovely dark green contrast, and that'll make a beautiful garden feature. So so here we are, leucophyta dwarf cushion bush. If you picked out one of these, and look, I love to plant these with the Cousin It. Look at that there. Look at that beautiful contrast there. Sort of a subtle, a real good contrast in texture and colour. So very often do it. This one sort of spreads out and goes down, and this one sort of comes up like a half a basketball. So anyway, so that's your leucophyta dwarf cushion bush. Normally $16.99, now only $14.99. So $14.99, that's really good value. A lot of nurseries would have a 6-inch pot, a sort of little tiny 6-inch pot like that for $14 or $15 or $16. This is an actual 8-inch pot for $14.99. So it's almost like shoplifting. So here we have Liriope Muscari. Now this is one of the ones that has the beautiful flowers, and it has the lovely low foliage, and this will flower like a beauty in summer. Beautiful lavender flowers. So Liriope Muscari, normally $14.99. These are $5.99. Another case of come in and grab a load of these and you'll feel like you're shoplifting. So $5.99, and they're not just scungy little. Sometimes you see these cheap and they'll just be like one plant. If I look in here, I reckon there's 12 little muscaris in there. So you got 12 plants for $5.99, which only works out to 50 cents a muscari.
As long as it's just the feeling of shoplifting, Chris, because we've got cute dogs at the front door and they'll lick you to death if you try and steal anything.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, we just want you to have the feeling, not the actual doing this of shoplifting. So here we have Nandina Moon Bay. Now Nandina Moon Bay, if you've got a factory or a commercial property or maybe a farm and you want to put on a big show, you can mass plant these. You can put them up a driveway, put a big block of them like that, and look at the colour you get. And what's great about these is they grow 45 by 45, 45 wide, 45 high. They grow 45 by 45. You don't have to trim them. You kind of give them, you maybe, depending on your climate where you are, you might give them a bit of a drink in the summer, but not too often. And actually, the more you neglect them, the more colour they give you. And so 45 by 45, great for mass planting. Doesn't matter if you've got a pub or a house, maybe it's a rental property and you want something classy but something that the tenants can't kill. You can't go wrong with these Moon Bay, and these Moon Bay look really, really classy. Actually, there's a beautiful, when you go past Eastland, is it Eastland, I think? Doncaster, the Doncaster Shopping Centre, right at the front is one of the best displays of these ever. Big, beautiful, round ones, all just mass planted. It's a really wonderful plant. And these can be a bit expensive in some places. Normally these are $11.99. We've got these for $5.99. So $5.99. If you had an in with a wholesaler, you probably couldn't get these for $5.99 GST inclusive. So $5.99, it's less than wholesale.
Chris, my mum's got great colour on hers. She hasn't touched them for 30 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the more you neglect them, the more colour they give you. So here we've got the dwarf Nandina. Now, if you wanted to make a big impact on your property, maybe you got. My dad had a farm, and he put about 200 metres of these up the driveway. So he had like 200 metres up either side of the driveway, and in winter, when they were brilliant red, it looked unbelievable, just incredible. We planted 3 or 4 deep. Now the thing is, for mass planting, what you need is something like this. These are normally $5.99. They're down to $3.99 for dwarf Nandinas, $3.99 for a dwarf Nandina, which is fabulous buying, and these give you massive red colour as you see here through the winter. But look, you can grow them in a pot, grow them as a little feature in the garden, grow them up and down the driveway. Actually, a lot of people come to me and they've got little narrow cracks in the concrete at the side of the drive, and they don't know what to grow. This is the lowest maintenance, easiest thing, and if you put it up the side of your driveway and you step out of the car and you step on it, it'll just bend over and bounce back up again, whereas if you put box there and you step on it, they'll break. And so they're great. They're in a confined area, high traffic area. They're great because of their flexibility, and great because of their colour, and great because of their price. So dwarf Nandina, $3.99. Now, a great source of winter colour is your Blue Lagoon Rosemary. Now, your Blue Lagoon Rosemary is quite edible. It's just as edible as any of the other rosemary. Nice spicy taste. So that's your Rosemary Blue Lagoon. Normally $12.99. These are $6.99, and they're not little scungy ones. Look at this. Beautiful big full plants. So beautiful big full plants, and only $6.99. Unbelievable. So $6.99. Now what Blue Lagoon does, it has blue flowers for 5 months of the year. But not only that, what it does is it'll hang down a bit, it'll grow out a bit, and it'll grow up. So it goes in all directions. So you can sort of have, if you had a retaining wall, you could have a hedge on top of the retaining wall and have it cascading down over the retaining wall. So really versatile plant, hardy plant, drought hardy, poor soil hardy, really, really hardy, really easy to grow. And for $6.99, this is definitely our most affordable. Like, you look at it, price after price after price is sort of almost below wholesale. Like, really, really fantastic prices. Now, we've got another really nice plant to come up. So Blue Lagoon, $6.99, can't go wrong. Now, if you were putting together a garden lot and you were down in Traralgon, do you know if you spend over $300, we'll drop it down to your door in Traralgon for free. For free delivery. Spend over $300, so a person can pick on these affordable plants like this. They can go there. They can look at all the plants, put together their affordable garden, and have it delivered for free over most of Victoria. Now here we have cotton lavender, sometimes called Santolina, and this has a beautiful silver foliage, grows into a natural ball, and the flowers are little yellow. You wouldn't believe it, but this is a yellow lavender. It has little yellow button flowers. It actually has quite an interesting fragrance. And what you find is that with things like Santolinas, lavenders and rosemaries, they're a bit highly flavoured for the rabbits and kangaroos. So you're out in a scrub somewhere, these are good plants. Your lavenders, and we've got plenty of them, lavenders, rosemaries, and this is also a lavender, and it's got quite a strong fragrance. You find that generally speaking, your rabbits, your hares, your kangaroos, your wallabies, your deer don't really like them.
I think it smells like a little bit like curry, doesn't it?
Yeah, I kind of like it actually. Yeah, it's an interesting smell. So anyway, these ones here, great deal. They're reduced from, Santolina, reduced from $16.99 to $12.99. A beautiful little silver ball in the garden, fragrant, and I reckon the kangaroos won't like it at all.
Now, Chris, Bambi's on TikTok and has asked, is it possible to divide tiger grass?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You'd probably do it in August because you'd probably do it in August because you want it to sort of. Right now, with the temperature crashing, it kind of can't really grow. But if you did it in sort of early to mid-August, it can start growing straight away. A bit of fertiliser, and the main thing is keep it moist. Keep it moist, and perhaps put it in the shade till it establishes itself, and keep it moist.
Fantastic advice. Thank you.
Okay, so.
Bambi has just clarified. Is it possible to divide tiger grass and grow it in water?
I think it needs to be in soil, but I think
Yeah.
I think any of your bamboos will grow in water in soil, like
Yeah.
in a swampy situation. Now here we have an interesting plant. This is an interesting plant. This has pale blue flowers in springtime, and it has beautiful purple foliage. And the frostier and colder you are, the more purple this becomes. Now the other thing with this is it loves the shade. You can grow this as a hedge, grow it as a bush, grow it as a feature plant. It's a nice colourful plant, but if you've got, like I did a garden design today, and the situation was a very, very shady courtyard, and we used this here as one of the fillers, and it'll give nice contrast. We're doing a sort of a tropical feel. This will give beautiful purple foliage in a shady yard. And anyway, this is normally sort of most nurseries are $12 or $15 plant. We've got these reduced from $8.99, which is a cheap price, down to $5.99 this week for our most affordable sale. So $5.99 for Strobilanthes Goldfussia, $5.99. Now here we have one of my favourite plants. Now I've got a lot of people these days asking me for a border that they don't have to trim. Well, this would only need trimming once a year. You deadhead the flowers in autumn, because what this does is it starts flowering in about September and will flower right through till autumn with beautiful lavender flowers. Beautiful plant, and it's a society garlic. When you smell it, it smells like garlic and it looks like garlic. I haven't tried eating it. I don't know if it tastes like garlic, but anyway, so basically this is your society garlic, and normally they're quite a classy, expensive thing. Maybe because it's got the word society in the name. You know, people, they charge big bucks in a lot of nurseries for it. We normally sell them quite cheaply for $12.99, but this week at our most affordable sale ever, these are $6.99. So you can afford to do a beautiful border with these at only $6.99 for variegated society garlic. Now, let's have a look at this beautiful foliage here. This is your Tropicana. Now, nothing says, if you want a tropical feel out by the pool, nothing says Tropicana like a Tropicana. And Tropicanas at your local nursery, you buy them in a pot, $16, $18, $19, something like that. These Tropicanas here are bare rooted. We've divided them up in our nursery, and they're $4.99. So $4.99 for a bare rooted Tropicana lilies. So and if you plant one of these and water and fertilise it, by the end of January you'll have a beautiful clump about this wide and this high with beautiful luxurious tropical coloured foliage and amazing orange flowers. So for $4.99, nothing will put more colour into your garden and more excitement. It'd be the most exciting $4.99 you could ever spend in a garden. So there we are. Now this is also, your Tropicana's a canna lily. This is also a canna lily. This is interesting. This is a miniature canna lily, and it has a cream flower, and it flowers about that high in your garden. So it's not a great, like Tropicana grows up like that, but this one here just grows up like that. It has a beautiful, somewhere between white and cream. It's staff can't quite make up their mind whether it's white or cream, but a beautiful flower, lovely lush tropical style foliage. You can plant a border of them or put them behind the hedge or dot them through your garden. And these are $4.99 for a bare rooted white or cream Tropicana, canna lily.
Now, Chris, 01's on TikTok must have really enjoyed the Tropicana that you just showed, because they've sent you a heart. And Bambi has said, thank you, that's amazing for the advice they gave about the tiger grass.
Great, okay, no worries. Yeah, keep it in the pot or in the ground, but flood it with water, no worries. Now, hydrangeas have become the height of fashion, and the problem is you go down to your local nursery, the hydrangea are all $50. But right now, we've got beautiful, this is a pink hydrangea, and it doesn't look great at the moment because it's going autumny, but if you plant one of these, you'll have beautiful pink flowers in springtime. And don't trim it, just water and fertilise it. Stay away from trimming it. And this is a pink hydrangea. It's the ball hydrangea. It has the round ball flower, and as you see here. And if you were to treat it, if you went into Bunnings and you bought that packet of blue stuff, the bluing stuff, this could also be a blue hydrangea. So whatever your fantasy or desire, you can have this pink or blue. Normally we sell them for $16.99, which is quite reasonable, but these are only $10.99. So if you want some hydrangea in your garden, some nice big old-fashioned big ball hydrangea, either pink or blue, $10.99. $10.99. Numbers are limited, but $10.99.
Now, Chris, people are keen to see the tutu today, and we've set a target of 30 tofu.
30 tofu?
30 tofu for you to get the tutu out, and you've already got 2 tofu sent in by 01. Thanks very much.
That's interesting. I love tofu with a bit of chili.
Yes.
Do we get chili tofu? Yeah, well, there we go. Now what we've got is we've saved the best to last. This is your white hydrangea. Now your white hydrangea. Now the thing is that you can go online and you can buy you can snap these up. There's only limited numbers. This is your white ball hydrangea, and one of the most sought after hydrangeas of all. Probably 8-inch pot, your local nursery, they're probably $50. So we've got them, and we normally sell them for $16.99, but right now these are $10.99 for a white ball hydrangea. You can't go wrong. So white ball hydrangea, $10.99. Now if you plant these now and the secret, there's 3 secrets to growing hydrangea. It's water, water and water, and then a little bit of fertilizer, and you'll have beautiful hydrangea. And these ones here, this is our most affordable sale ever. There's heaps of plants going out here for $5.99 and $6.99, $8.99, and nice white ball hydrangeas for $10.99. You cannot go wrong.
Now, Chris, 01 has upped the ante and has sent you 5 more cute cat. Are they tofus?
Kit Kats?
Cute cats.
Kit Kats, we're going to get a mixture of things, aren't we?
Oh, they're tofu. They're tofu.
Tofu, okay. Okay, no worries.
Looks like a cute cat to me.
Now, the last year or two, and I think it's going to get worse, one of the biggest growers of roses has actually retired this year. I was with him the other day. So it's going to get worse, but you used to be able to buy a standard rose for, it wasn't that long ago, you get one for $20, and in your local store, they're starting to be $60 and $70 and $80 and $90 for a standard rose, and it's hard to afford them. So what we've done is this one here is a 3-foot freesia. That's a golden. That's the best golden rose you can get. Now we've got lots and lots of bare red roses here, but we put a few of them on super duper special. These ones here, most stores $49, $59, $69. These are what are they? They're freesia. They're $21.99. So $21.99. For a 3-foot freesia rose, and it's not a scungy one. These have got nice thick trunks, beautiful bushy heads on them. For $21.99, you cannot go wrong. So $21.99 for a 3-foot standard freesia. So standard roses for $21.99, amazing. Now, this is even more amazing. This is a standard iceberg, and it's a 2-footer, but it's a very generous 2-footer. It's as big as some people's 3-footers. There's very technical reasons why different 2-footers and 3-footers are different size, but these are a really good size. They've double grafted on the heads, beautiful roses, and your local nursery, these could be $40, $50, $60. These ones here, you want to get in and snap some of them up. These are $16.99. So if you thought you couldn't afford to put a nice border of standard roses in, think again. Standard iceberg. Iceberg are the most popular rose. They're the most sought after rose. Standard iceberg rose, $16.99. So $16.99, unbelievable.
Now, Chris, we're getting some love. We've had a comment on TikTok saying, thank you all for your live. So much information and great to chill on a Saturday and watch on a Saturday morning.
Great, thank you. I try to make it so people can have their nursery fix at home on a Saturday morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is even more amazing. This is a 2-year-old rose, beautiful thick stem, double grafted on the head, just the most perfect rose. And you'd expect to pay at your local store $50 or $60, $50 or $60 for something like this. These are $16.99. This is a Mr. Lincoln 2-foot standard bare-rooted rose for $16.99. So $16.99 for a 2-foot standard rose. Now, we've got thousands of standard roses in at the moment, and they're all cheap, but this is the cheapest. So a beautiful, rich red, fragrant rose, a classic rose, an all-time classic, Mr. Lincoln, beautiful double head. The trunk is as thick as my little finger, like a really decent trunk on them, nice roots on them, from a very, very good grower, and very, very cheap, $16.99. I can't even buy them wholesale most places for something like that. Now, had a bloke in earlier and he bought 50 of these, and what you've got here is a standard 4-foot iceberg. Icebergs are really popular. These ones here are 2-year-old. Look at the big bushy head on it. Look, I'll just get you up close. Look at that bushy head there. Yeah, have a look there. Look, really bushy head. So bushy head, beautiful bushy head, lovely strong, 4-foot rose. Now this could be, say you did a cottage garden, you could put a 4-foot standard iceberg in as the centerpiece in the middle of a cottage garden. Or if you had a big mansion, you wouldn't want to put 2 or 3-foot icebergs in. You'd need 4-foot icebergs to sort of stand up and be in scale with your big mansion. So these are fabulous, but you don't need a super big budget for them. Around $90 is what most people are charging for a 4-foot iceberg, and these ones here, we normally sell them for $79.99. These ones here have been reduced to $49.99, so $49.99 for a 4-foot standard iceberg. Now we're talking. That's your Mr. Lincoln there. And now we've got your Alice Eastwood. Now look, that's a beautiful sort of blue and white, beautiful lilac, classic lilac. And lilacs are fragrant too. They're a hardy bush. They're actually grafted onto a privet. And a privet is almost a noxious weed. So they're almost unkillable. And one of the secrets is what you do is that they can sucker the old privets underneath. And what you do is you bury them so that you mound them up and bury them so that the graft is under soil. And if you have that graft buried and have it up the stem a little bit, they don't sucker. So it's a little secret. I learned that years ago because I planted a whole lot of them in my garden, and they suckered like crazy, and it drove me crazy. And an old nurseryman told me how to bury the things there. But if you're in clay soil, you wouldn't dig them in too deep. You just mound them up a little bit. But this is a beautiful classic lilac. And lilacs, $40, $50 in your local store, $26.99 for an Alice Eastwood bare-rooted classic. And this will be flowering not this spring, but it'll be flowering beautifully by the following spring. You might get 1 or 2 flowers this spring, but certainly away for next spring.
Well, Chris, that's fantastic advice. Burying it up to beyond the graft.
Yeah, it stops it because those privets are not that attractive that come up from underneath. So this is a Beldenancy, very, very fancy. Beautiful sort of pinky mauve, and it's only $26.99. So $26.99 for a Beldenancy, very fancy.
That's true.
Now we had somebody talking about hyacinths earlier on. Here we've got the blue hyacinths, not a bulb, a lilac, but just as beautiful as the bulb lilac. Look at it, it's a sort of a double flower, very, very intense. You can see why they call it a hyacinth. So this is a beautiful classic lilac, and it's only $26.99. So $26.99, and you'd have one of these, a real classic in your garden.
So what size would that be? Because I remember Peter Lamb earlier on TikTok had asked, are hyacinth hybrids a popular plant, and you had said no, they're not. They've gone out of fashion.
But I was talking about hyacinth bulb.
The bulbs, yes.
This is a hyacinth lilac.
And so, how big will this get? Peter might be able to have a think about that one.
Well, it's beautiful flowers in spring. This is going to end up probably 2 to 2.5 meters tall.
Yep.
My mum used to keep hers in check by cutting it hard for flowers and using it in flower arrangements every spring, and that could be a way of keeping them in check.
Fantastic. Well, there you go, Peter. There's another hyacinth option for you.
Yep. Now here we've got the darkest, most exciting, most exotic of all your of all of the, look at the beautiful dark flowers there. And what I found is that the darker the hyacinths, not the darker, the darker the lilac, the longer they last. So the white ones and the pale pinks don't last as long as your dark colour. So if you get this one here, you'll find that it'll stand up beautifully for a long time in spring. Fragrant and beautiful, deep, deep dark Congo lilac. Now Cora brand, that's one of your real classic. It's just a lilac colour, single flower, vigorous, prolific flowering. I think that's what we had in our garden when I was a kid. And beautifully fragrant flowers. My mum would pick them by the armful and bring them in the house, and the whole house would smell of lilac.
Now, Chris, how can people get the plants that you're seeing, that they're seeing on the live stream today?
Well, it's so easy. We're out in Campbellfield, and you could jump in the car. Campbellfield's sort of handy to everywhere. Like we're only an hour or so from Ballarat, or Shepparton, and if you've been down to your local nursery and there's bugger all in there, there's hardly any plants, or you're like, come here and you'll be shocked. There's just so much stock. To see all the plants here, you'd have to spend half a day here. And some people do come here and spend half a day. So like Ballarat, an hour or so. Shepparton, an hour and a half. Bendigo, an hour and a half. So you can come down here, or if you're down sort of Williamstown, we're probably 45 minutes. So really, we're really close from all different directions. We're very centrally, I chose this site because it's very centrally located. So you can come here, go shopping, and you can buy these specials.
Fantastic. And also people can scan the code that's on the screen so that they can go to the link where they can find all of these bargains, or they could give us a call if they want to order online.
Yeah, no mucking around. If you see something that you like you look at this Cath Havamaya, that's a beautiful lilac. Look at that lovely sort of light lilac colour. Beautifully fragrant lilac, wonderful classic lilac. And this one here is only $26.99. So if you saw this, you could ring up right now and say, put one of those Cath Havamayas aside for me right now. And charge it on your credit card, and you could come in and pick it up, or if you spend over $300, you could get a free delivery.
All right. Now, Chris, just before we move on to Catherine Havamaya, I've got some news for you.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit crisp today, but you're going to have to get that tutu out, because 01 has sent you 23 tofus, which means you've hit your 30 target and you've got to get the tutu on.
Okay, no worries. I'll go put it on. You can explain to people about our delivery and our how to purchase and how to buy online, and give it, and even about the free garden design while I'm putting it on.
No worries. All right. So, I thank you so much. I love it that you love the little screen at the back. It is helpful. It's helpful for you guys because you're able to see what things look like when they're in full bloom, and also what you can expect to see in your garden when they're in your garden and thriving. So now, if you've just joined us on the live stream, welcome. This is the Growers Direct Flash Sale, and this is the most affordable sale that we've had in quite a while. My name's Jodie. I'm one of your hosts today. We are live for the next 2 hours thereabouts, bringing you amazing deals on beautiful, healthy plants at unbeatable prices. Now, whether you're landscaping, refreshing your garden, or just love plants, then you're well and truly in the right place. If you've just joined us, please check the pinned comments at the top of our social chats. It has a direct link to our website where you can place your order, or you can simply scan the QR code on the screen. That will take you straight to our order page. Today's sale prices are lower than market prices, and many of these plants are limited in quantity, so it's first come, first serve. So if you see something you really love, jump onto it. Today we are talking about, or the themes that we're covering today are borders and low hedges, flowering plants. As you can see, some of those beautiful syringas, those lilacs that we've got up on the screen, are beautiful flowering plants. We've got foliage plants, we've got ground covers and climbers, hedges and screening plants, we've got trees coming up, and lovely pots. So just to recap about, because we had a couple of questions on our chat about where do we ship. So if you spend $300 or more, we will ship your order for free. We deliver free to Melbourne, Geelong, Bendigo, Ballarat, Shepparton, Traralgon, anywhere within that that ring, and we can ship to places beyond that, either through Australia Post or couriers. And our Chris is back with that tutu. Look at those gams. I mean, come on. Yeah, you're doing well, Chris, for your age. All right. So if you've got any questions, you can also contact our sales team on 9359 331, and they will help you. They'll help you over the phone. Now, Chris, you did miss. 01 has said that they love the little screen at the back. It's very helpful. So that's really good feedback. And the tutu, everyone's loving the tutu.
Right, okay, so here we are back with Sweetheart Lilac. Beautiful, fine, beautiful pink lilac. It's sort of got different coloured pinks in, lovely mix, lovely and fragrant, nice, vigorous. So if you want a beautiful pink lilac in the garden, this is the one to have, and it's called Sweetheart, and it is a real sweetheart. There we are. Now, when spring comes, you're going to love this. These ones here are actually of an age where they'll produce some flowers this spring. But what this does, this grows into a very small tree or a very big bush, and it's very, very hardy, grows in almost any soil, grows almost anywhere, loves a little bit of water, loves a bit of fertilizer, a vigorous, hardy, easy to grow plant. And then around September, it's absolutely covered in beautiful white balls, and they're called snowballs, and the white balls are quite large. They're sort of like about that big, and these will be covered in white balls in springtime. They won't flower that much this year, but give them a couple of years, you'll have this beautiful massive white balls. And I reckon in spring, look at that there, I don't think there's hardly a prettier tree around in springtime. It is really a beautiful, pretty thing. Fabulous white balls, and it's a snowball bush. And these ones here, where are we? Snowball bush, Strobilanthes, Sweetheart, Viburnum Snowball bush reduced from $19.90 to $12.99. $12.99. Now that normally you can't even buy. This is 8-inch pots. They're good size. You'd be lucky at most nurseries to get a 6-inch pot for $12.99. In fact, I'd expect you to pay $14.99 for a 6-inch pot, and for $12.99 to get a nice big 8-inch pot that's probably going to flower this spring is a fabulous deal. So there we are, and they're only $12.99. So really, that's what today is our most affordable sale ever. And what we've got is you've got bushes, you've got ground covers, you've got everything, and you've got it really, really cheap. And the idea was so that people who need to have a garden for whatever reasons, maybe it's commercial reasons, rental house, putting a place on the market, just for your own enjoyment, for your own you're retired and you're just pottering around in the garden, whatever the reason, if you're looking for an affordable garden, we've got our most affordable garden sale ever, and we've got such a range that almost anyone. Now, agave is great to grow in a pot, great to grow in the garden, great at your holiday house. They're very, very low maintenance, so really, really low maintenance plant. And normally you're paying $10.99. These agave here are $6.99. So $6.99 for a beautiful 6-inch agave. See, $6.99, 6-inch agave, you cannot go wrong.
Now, Chris, Garcelle's giving us a little bit more feedback to saying, so great to see the growth from showing us the plants to a TV slideshow in the background. Great, amazing work, team.
Great, thank you. Thanks a lot. So now here we have. Now these are sort of, it says porcupine, but they're not terrible prickle. Like I could put my hands on it. What it is, these are aloe. Now aloe, you could. I've noticed in the country, councils put these in roundabouts. These go in the toughest of situations. These are really, really tough. If you lived in Horsham and you had a roundabout out the front of your farm or something like that, and you wanted something out there that you didn't have to worry about at all, you'd plant these aloe. Nothing seems to eat them. And then in springtime you get beautiful flowers, and this one here is a fairly miniature aloe. It's never going to get too big. Normally $16.99. These are $12.99, and this is really quite a rare and unusual collector's plant. In a lot of stores these are $24 or something like that. 8-inch pot, and $12.99, and it's aloe porcupine. Really, and I'll have you give you a close look at the flower. And because it flowers in the winter, anything that flowers in the winter seems to flower for a long time. Maybe it takes a long time to get the bees to come and fertilise it or something like that, but this will flower for months and months and months, and it'll grow into a beautiful sort of ground cover. Great, great on a farm, out in Horsham, Shepparton, somewhere like that. If you need something tough and a bit of winter colour, you can't go wrong with these Porcupine aloes, only $12.99. Now, I've had people come from right across town to get themselves a foxtail fern here because they reckon at their local nursery they can't get them. So basically, we've got these little 8-inch pots here, and we're giving them away for $19.99. And if you put them in water and fertilise them in 12 months, you'll have a beautiful bushy foxtail like this. Now, you can grow these in a pot, grow them in a hanging basket, grow them in the garden, grow them in the sun, grow them in the shade, grow them in the fernery. They are very, very versatile. Grow them in the al fresco area. Grow them in pots, grow them wherever, grow them indoors, whatever you want. These are the most versatile plant around, and they're normally a bit expensive, they're normally a bit hard to get. We've got them cheap, we've got plenty of them, they're easy to get, and they are only $19.99. So $19.99 for an asparagus foxtail fern. Now have a look at this. It's like buying a wig.
Oh, yeah. That is a great look.
So there we've got, this is a Cousin It. A Cousin It plant, and they're just like the real Cousin It. Now, Cousin It, I think that this would be one of the plants I use most in my garden designs. It'd be my top 10 plants, and the reason being is it's very, very hardy. Like that, no matter how slack a gardener are you, I've never heard of anyone killing one of these. So extremely hardy. They're fast growing. Very interesting texture. I love the sort of the matte green colour, but they'll cascade over a wall, they'll cover an area, and they're great. Like actually, where's that? We'll do it again. Where's that? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I love, lovely contrasting plant. I'll do this again. Have a look at them. So I'll often plant Cousin Its around something like the Leucophyta, but I'll also do them around things like what do you call it? Miss Muffet, the Miss Muffet Pittosporum, pale green Pittosporum. So pale green Pittosporums with the dark green here, silver and green. Wonderful contrasting plant, beautiful way to cover an area, and and once it's really these are very thick and bushy, and once they cover the area, very difficult for weeds to take hold again. So great for probably one of the best plants around for the low maintenance garden. And these ones here, dirt cheap. They are Cousin It, 10-inch pot. Instead of paying $49.99, these are only $39.99, and you can see they're an enormous feature for the garden. $39.99, Cousin It. Now here we've got the Elijah Blue. Now this is a beautiful blue fescue, fabulous plant. Here it is here, and these could be, $13, $14, $15 at your local nursery. These are $5.99 for Elijah Blue. So if you want a bit of blue contrast in there in your garden, a bit of blue contrast, something really, really tough, something easy to grow, something simple, Elijah Blue, and that's $5.99 is like the price that a lot of people would sell a tube for. So $5.99, fabulous value. Now lots of people come in here and they bought themselves a bungalow palm, and they live out in Donnybrook or somewhere like that, and they come in 6 weeks later and it's as dead as a doornail. And so at any rate, a lot of people want to know what sort of palm tree, say you lived in Shepparton, say you lived in Ballarat, Bendigo, somewhere like that, what's the palm tree that's going to grow anywhere in Melbourne or anywhere in Victoria without any hassles? And the name is a Washington palm. And the thing with your Washington palm is and these ones are really, really cheap. They're beautiful big plants. They'll make a beautiful feature in a garden. You can run them up a driveway, and you give them plenty of water. They grow quite quickly. They have a beautiful structural look to them, these grow wild in the back of Los Angeles. Now the back of Los Angeles is desert, so they do really, really well in desert country. And in that, and they call it high desert, and in that high desert the frost is extreme. Frost is -16, so these will take extreme frost that'll kill your bangalow palm. So extreme frost, the temperature out when you go in that high desert goes up to about 55 degrees. So they can take real heat, they can take real cold, they can take extreme winds, they can take poor soil, they can take drought, they can take almost anything. And these particular ones are really good size. So have a look, they're probably about 1 metre tall, they're in a 10-inch pot, and we're giving them away for $29.99. So $29.99, a real feature tree. Now if you say you had a big roundabout and you wanted, these are a bit smaller than a date palm, what can look really good to make a feature with these is plant 3 of them together. Plant them, 1.5, 2 metres apart, put 3 of them in a triangle and make an amazing feature with these. And at $29.99 you could easily afford to. So Mexican cotton palm, $29.99.
Now Chris, we have got a question. Marcus is on Instagram and has asked, can you plant Chinese star jasmine at the base of a mature tree like a jacaranda and have it grow up the tree? Or would it adversely impact the tree? Thanks, Marcus.
If you let it go wild all over the tree, yes. If you just let it grow up the trunk away and not let it cover the whole tree. But what a climber has been designed by nature is to pop out the top and wreck the foliage, So it could become a tree killer.
Yeah.
So you'd have to keep it under control a bit, but you could certainly run it up the trunk without a problem. It won't suck from the tree or anything like that. The main worry is if it got really out of hand and covered the top of the tree and blocked out the light to the tree.
So keep it away from the branches.
Yeah. Now here we've got a campanula, a blue campanula, and there it is there, beautiful. Now this is a lovely spreading perennial, and in spring it just spreads out everywhere and just covered in amazing blue flowers. Sometimes it's called a Serbian blue bellflower, and if you wanted something really exciting in early spring in your cottage garden, your Serbian blue bellflower or your blue campanula, can't go wrong, and these are only $6.99. Lovely healthy plants for $6.99.
So a bit of feedback, Chris. Good. Wow, good to know that there's a palm for that's good for our climate. They'll keep that in mind. And
cool. And at $29.90 you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're good size. So now what we've got here is blue convolvulus. Now blue convolvulus is fabulous ground cover. I've noticed that it starts flowering in the middle of September, and it was flowering beautifully. I drove past some of it on my way to work. It was flowering beautifully up until a couple of weeks ago. It was just covered in flowers. So really long flowering, very drought hardy, poor soil hardy, can cascade over an embankment, cascade over a retaining wall, really, really tough, really easy to grow, and one plant will cover quite a bit of ground. Very easy, fast-growing plant. Blue convolvulus, and you're talking $6.99, so $6.99 for blue convolvulus. So, no, $5.99, sorry, $5.99.
Got a nice curly question for you.
$5.99 for blue convolvulus, sorry, I got $1 out. Yeah.
That's all right. So we've got a good curly question on ground covers. Are there any ground covers that help to deter mosquitoes?
Yes. Catnip.
Catnip?
Catnip.
Nepeta.
Yep. Catnip. It's considered to be one of the best mosquito repellents, and it's also can work as a ground cover.
So, but you would need to get out there and give it a brush every now and again.
Yeah,
brush it with your hand like the rosemary.
What happened, the only thing with catnip, you'll get cats come from all over the neighbourhood and have orgies in it, and I guess that roughing it up will give off an odour that repels the mosquitoes.
Fantastic.
So here we have Dichondra repens, and we normally sell these cheap for $5, but right now they're $2.99. So $2.99 for Dichondra repens. These are great. Grow them in the cracks between the pavers, grow them as a ground cover, grow them as a border, and at $2.99 you can't go wrong. They're beautiful and they're lovely. I'll give you a close look at one of these. These are beautiful, lush, healthy plants. Look how, I've never seen better ones than that, and at $2.99 you really can't go wrong. Look at that, $2.99. So $2.99, Dichondra repens, you cannot go wrong. Now if you want to get hold of some of this stuff, what you do is you scan on this QR code, you go to hellohello.com.au, or you can ring up, or you can come down and just shop in the nursery. We've got an incredibly well-stocked nursery, amazing a range of plants. So jump in, and we do free delivery over most of Victoria when you spend over $300. So if you're putting together a garden lot in our affordable plant sale, spend $300 and get free delivery over most of Victoria. Now here we've got Gazania Daybreak, and I love this Gazania because it's got a lovely silver foliage and it's got a beautiful flower. We'll give you a close look at one of the flowers here. Really lovely, lovely flower, and it's good buying. The Daybreak Gazania is only $10.99, and this will cover a large area in the garden. Beautiful, consistent silver foliage and lovely yellow flowers. Very long flowering. It'll flower from October right through to winter. So we've got that nice one there. Okay, so what we've got here is your Creeping Jenny, and they're normally $14.99. These are $5.99. $5.99. This is a lovely thing. Have it put in a rockery and have it cascade over the rocks. Put it in a pot and have it cascade over the side. If you had a nice dark blue pot and you had this cascading over the side, beautiful lemon lime foliage, and only $5.99. So from $14.99 down to $5.99, and it's called Golden Creeping Jenny.
So Gastel has said how pretty it is.
So here, thanks for that. So here we have a beautiful ground cover, and you can make a path, put it around your pavers, put it in the cracks, make a whole lawn out of it. It's hardy, it's versatile, it'll grow in most soils, most conditions, and it's called White Star Creeper, and we've got them reduced from $8.99 to $5.99. So $5.99 for these beautiful White Star Creepers. Take a look at this. Beautiful White Star Creeper, beautiful White Star Creeper. So fabulous value, and they're $5.99. So $5.99 for beautiful White Star Creeper.
Chris Rocket Forever is on Instagram and said not the tutu again.
Yep, the tutu.
Well, people wanted the tutu Rocket Forever, so we got the tutu out.
Yeah, so here we've got one of the best, most versatile plants around. Notice these are in flower now. They haven't come out of a hothouse, they've come out of the field. These are a white carpet rose. They flower for about 6 months of the year. And if you're into that classic green and white look, white carpet roses are one of the best plants to deliver that, because they flower, they're evergreen, they flower for so long, they're tough, and they can be a little bit pricey. They're normally going around $22.99. We've got them here for $13.99. So $13.99 for white carpet rose. Right, so here we've got Scleranthus lime lava. Now this is a beautiful plant. Look at this plant here. Look at that there. Imagine that. You can grow that in a pot like we're seeing here. You can grow it in the garden. It makes a lovely feature. This loves loose soil, plenty of water, and hot sun. It loves the hot sun. So Scleranthus, and these are a beautiful big plant like this. I'd put this in a lovely pot. It would look really wonderful. So this goes into a beautiful pot, and this is reduced from $69 to $39.99. Look at the size of it for $39.99. Great value. So we're really focused on making this our most affordable sale ever.
Now, Garcelle is on TikTok and has said the tutu is iconic. And it is.
Thank
really,
you.
It's been going for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's got a good 20 years under the... Okay, so here we've got Chinese Star Jasmine. Now these are around 3 foot tall, beautiful, healthy plants. $30-40 is what you pay most places for something like that. These ones here, $24.99. So $24.99, beautiful Chinese Star Jasmine. This is going to have white fragrant flowers in summer. You can use these as a ground cover, or you can use them to cover a fence or a wall. They can grow in the sun or the shade. They'll grow in almost any soil. Really versatile, easy to grow plant, and only $24.99 for nice big advanced Chinese Star Jasmine. Grow them in a pot at the front door. Beautiful plant, and you'll have about 8 to 10 weeks of beautiful fragrance right around Christmas time.
Garcelle has said that the lime lava that you had up before reminds her of Teletubby Land.
Right, okay. So here we've got a native ground cover, and actually these flower beautifully, and they flower for most of the year. And this is a native violet, 6-inch pot, $8.99. down, reduced to $6.99. So $6.99, and what you'll be amazed at, if you were to scan our QR code and go through our list of plants we've got 100 plants on sale today, and so many of them are at $5.99 and $6.99. That's half the price you pay for similar plants at your local nursery, even at one of them big stores. There's a big store starts with B, and there's nothing much under $12.99. So here we are. Now, this is a lily pilly here, and it's called Smithii minor, but forget that. What's important, there's something very, very important about this one here. People love lily pilly hedges. They're hardy, they're fast growing, they're easy to trim, they look fantastic. But the thing is, there's a beetle moved down from Queensland, and he loves lily pilly hedges, and if he really likes the variety that you've got, he'll eat all the leaves off it. And you have to spray it constantly with really toxic stuff to get rid of this beetle, and you can never really get rid of him. But if you plant anything with Ackmena smithii in the name, the beetle doesn't eat it. And this is a Smithii minor. This is a great hedge. If you wanted something that grew quick but didn't get too big, say you wanted a hedge in the sort of 1.5 to 3 metre range, and you wanted fast growing, and you wanted to have no psyllids, no little bubble things in it, no beetles that eat all the leaves off it. If you want to have a really beautiful clean hedge, you'd go for one of these Smithii minors. And what's amazing is the price. I can't believe it. The price is $6.99. Nice big healthy lily pillies. There they are. They're $6.99, and you've got yourself a lily pilly hedge.
Now, Chris, on Instagram, Jack Dickens has said even the weeping lily pilly. So, just want to. I think it's a bit of clarification
weeping
there.
lily pilly. I'm trying not to use in my garden designs ones that the beetles eat. Weeping lily pilly, beetles don't touch it.
Beautiful.
Psyllids will, but once established, it seems that there's little birds that eat the psyllids, and it forms an equilibrium. And psyllids are not a problem on your weeping lily pilly once established, but no beetle problems on it. So if you wanted to plant a lily pilly hedge, and you come and spoke to my staff, they can advise you on which is the right lily pilly to avoid the bug problems that are around in Melbourne. And it's something that happens when people really grow a lot of something, then its bug will move in to come with it. So what happens is Melbourne over the last 25, 30 years is filled with lily pillies, and now the lily pilly bugs have arrived. So we've got to be a little bit cautious about which varieties to plant and how to look
just for
after them.
clarification for Jack, the weeping lily pilly is botanically a water hausia, whereas the others are Ackmena smithii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got camellias. Now, camellias are great for hedging, and a lot of people come in, they build a 2-story house, they've got this little skinny thing up the side, they beside a path, little narrow area, and they want to put something tall and green that'll flower and cover the fence. And what do I recommend? I recommend, look at these beautiful 8-inch pot. This one here is a shell pink one, and this is going to have beautiful pink flowers on it for months and months in the. And this one here is Setsugekka. What's that? Oh, that's shell pink, right. So what we have here is a Setsugekka camellia, and your Setsugekka camellia, this one here is nearly 6 foot tall, and it's reduced from $39.99 to $24.99. So $24.99 for a nice big camellia. And your Setsugekka, beautiful white flowers, lovely fine foliage, beautiful hedge, beautiful screen, does beautifully in complete shade. So if you've got that shady side of the house and you're looking for something tall, narrow and flowering and easy to grow, go for a Sasanqua camellia, either a Setsugekka or a shell pink. We'll have a look at the shell pink now. Now with the shell pink, here's the flower here. It's the softest pink you've ever seen. Beautiful soft pink. And what I think is, where's that? I saw that flower there a second ago. It's gone, I think. Oh, where is it?
On the edge of the table, you can find the flower there.
It fell off. Right, so there it is. Look how soft a pink that is there. Look at that there. Yeah. It is. Now, what I reckon is that these are winter flowering, late autumn and winter flowering, and I love the soft pinks because the soft pinks are just that little bit warmer than white. They're not garish, they're subtle, but they got where white has a lack of warmth. A beautiful soft pink like your shell pink gives off that little bit of warmth that just makes it that much nicer. And I noticed that the pink ones don't sell that well in summer, but in winter when it's icy cold and people come in the nursery, they mostly buy a soft pink Sasanqua because the white ones can look a little icy.
Gusal has said that's a really cute flower. And now, Chris, we know that you like your soft pinks because of the tutu.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. So I love this pink here. This is gorgeous. So here we've got. So here we've got. This is one of the handiest plants around. This is a Mexican orange blossom. And you know that old saying, stick it where the sun don't shine? This applies to your Mexican orange blossom. Your Mexican orange blossom doesn't need any direct sun. It's funny, I know a lot about these because my dad used to, they're not that common, and my dad would say, look, he said, grab them secateurs, take the old Jeep and go find 25,000 cuttings of choisia. And I'd go to all these places and I'd trim up, I'd say, look, I'll trim your hedge for free, and I'd trim up everyone's choisia hedges for free. And it'd take me weeks and I'd get 25,000 cuttings from my dad. But what I learned doing that is that one of the best hedges that I went to was under a row of chestnut trees. And the sun, it was really dark there, the grass didn't grow, nothing grew there, but these grew beautifully there, and I could pick thousands of cuttings there when I trimmed up the lady's hedge. So, and I've seen it lots and lots of times, south side of like actually near my house, there's a beautiful bushy one of these, covered in white flowers every spring. And it's a big double-storey brick house, south side, never a drop of sun there, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So choisia, beautiful white flowers, lovely spicy smell, lovely evergreen, grow it into a hedge, grow it as a bush, grow it as a low dome, but very, very handy where you've got low light. And there's lots of people with two-storey houses, they've got this garden on the south side, and they need a good low-light plant. Lovely spicy white fragrance, and these ones here, are nice big gutsy ones, normally $29.99, now $19.99. So Mexican orange blossom, $19.99. Nice big gutsy plants. Grow them in the shade. They do fantastic.
So we're on TikTok. Emlyn has joined us and given us a wave.
Hi,
Emlyn.
Hi, Em.
Yeah, Emlyn can give us a rose if he likes. And Stephen Bradbury has also given us a wave. Don't fall down, mate.
Hey, Steve. Right, no worries. Here we've got Glauca pencil pines. Now, 8-inch pot Glauca pencil pines can cost you $20 to $30. $20 to $30 for an 8-inch Glauca pencil pine. These ones here are 6-inch Glauca pencil pines, and they're as big as most people's 8s. It's a funny thing, like nurserymen sell things by pot size, not by plant size. Now, these are probably the best deal in the whole place because they're virtually an 8-inch pot size, really good size. They're not a 6-inch pot size. And they're $9.99, which is a cheap price. Like normally a 6-inch one of these is $14 or $16. So these are 8-inch pot size and they're $9.99. Now what you can do with the Glauca pencil pine is you can grow a hedge. You can grow an avenue. You can put them in as a feature. Maybe if you're doing a really interesting contemporary landscape, you can plant a series of them in threes and dot them here and there in a landscape. Now they're very fast growing. These ones here with a bit of proper care, these will be 2 meters tall in 12 months time. They're very, very fast growing. They're hardy, they're wind hardy, drought hardy, poor soil hardy, frost hardy, every sort of hardy. And at $9.99, look at the size of these for $9.99.
Fantastic, Chris. Now, Emlyn must be really enjoying the live stream today because he's given you a rose.
Oh, wow.
And that's a prompt to let anyone else that's on the live stream know. If you're really enjoying us, throw us a rose.
Yeah. Now here's the deal of deals here. I haven't seen this one before. Normally $49.99. These have been reduced to $37.99. Now I'm 1.8 meters tall, and these are nearly as tall as me. But you've got to allow for the pot. So I'd say that these are 1.6 meters. So a 1.6 meter latent cypress. Now these are capable. If you were to plant these and really look after them, you could get these up 2.5 to 3 meters in 1 year. Plant them a meter apart, and you'd have a screen in 1 year. 2.5 to 3 meters tall, and these ones are only $37.99. So really good size for $37.99 Leighton's green cypress. Now, one of the most popular trees in Melbourne is your Ficus hilli flash. And they call it flash because it grows in a flash. Like we've got sequences of photos where customers have bought them and they got little tiny ones, and in no time at all they got a beautiful big screen. Now if you're in a hurry, maybe you want to go a pleached hedge. These have got beautiful straight trunks. You trim up the bottom branches and have a pleached hedge. But if you've got maybe you're putting a property on the market and you want something that looks established, these are fantastic, and these are 13-inch and they're reduced from $99, which is cheap for a 2 metre ficus flash. It'd be the cheapest price in Melbourne on 2 metre ficus flash. They're reduced to $89.99. So $89.99, 2 metre tall ficus flash, beautiful straight, fantastic plants.
Chris, we've got some great feedback on TikTok from Garcelle. A few months ago, you taught me how to propagate my gardenia by layering it. By layering, and it's growing well now. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Nice to hear it worked out. Now here we have the Heli Flash Standard. Now anywhere you're paying $40-50 for Heli Flash Standards. These are beautiful standards, lovely straight stems, lovely thick bushy heads on them, and we're giving them away for $24.99. So $24.99 for Heli Flash Standards. These are great to put up the driveway, maybe put them up the garden path, and then what happens with these is that as they grow, you just sort of trim them a bit, and as that ball grows, so like these will be this high, by the end of summer you can have them up this high with a bigger ball. The stem doesn't grow, it gets fatter, but this ball will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and these ones here are only $24.99. So come in here, fill up a trolley with them, run them up and down the garden path. A great garden feature for $24.99. So here we've got your box leaf privet. Now, if you want an English box style hedge, or maybe you want a tall English box style hedge, maybe you're out in the country, you've got poor soil, tough conditions, you're worried about growing English box. These are like English box. They look like an English box, but these ones here, these could be, you can keep them 70, 80 centimetres tall, you can grow them metre tall, you can grow them 2 metres tall, you can grow them 2.5 metres tall. Now these ones here, if you planted these and looked after these, by the end of summer these could be a 1 metre tall, thick bushy hedge. They're 5 times the speed of an English box, and they look just, and if you point it out to your friends, they'd say that's an English box hedge. So you can grow a 1 metre English box hedge by the end of summer with these ones here. So, and they'll grow in almost any soil. And I remember once a customer came in and I gave him 20 of these to try out when I first started growing them, and he came back next year and he said, look, I'll have 3,000 of those, thank you. And anyway, what he did, he had a beautiful big mansion and he put them all up and down the drive, put them around everything, and I went and visited, and it just looked $1 million. He'd absolutely transformed his place with 3,000 of these. It was a big multi-acre garden. So it's an incredible, often when people come in here with very big gardens, I'll use hundreds of these and transform their garden with it. It's a great thing. And these ones here are nice and cheap. They are
Reduced from $4.49 to $1.99.
So they're only $1.99. Yeah.
Now, Chris, Jack Dickens is back on Instagram and has asked, is this sale only today?
No, this sale goes up online, and you can shop it until either we sell. We've only got limited numbers of everything, so either we sell out of it, or next Saturday at 12 o'clock. And there's been people rushing to buy bargains this morning from last week's one. And this Saturday at 12 o'clock, we chop it off and we bring on a new sale.
Fantastic. So the point here is, if you see something that you like, get onto it quickly.
Yeah, get onto it, because if they run out, that's it. So we have limited stock of everything. We either sell it all or we take it off sale 12 o'clock next Saturday, and we bring on our new sale. So whereabouts? So there we are. There we're down to Prince Portuguese Laurel.
So these are the 6-inch
So here's the 6-inch privet. Now 6-inch privet reduced from $6.99 to $5.99. That makes it the cheapest box style product on the market. It's only $5.99, and these ones here, you could plant 4 of these to the metre and grow yourself a beautiful box style hedge in only 1 year, and grow it in the toughest conditions. It doesn't matter if it's overly wet, overly dry, overly clayey, overly drought, over frost, whatever it is. these will take it, and they're only $5.99. So $5.99, 6-inch pot box leaf privet. Now, this is it's interesting. My daughter planted a hedge of these around a cottage out there in Monbulk, and in spring when it flowers, it's just a mass of these beautiful white fragrant flowers, and she's got them on the street there. People are going past. There's this fabulous fragrance and heaps of white flowers, and they're a lovely sort of 2.5 metre evergreen hedge, beautiful. And people come and knock on the door and say, "What are those? What is that? What is it? What is it?" And at any rate, so it's a fairy white magnolia, normally $34.99 down to $24.99. They're a metre tall. They'll be flowering this spring with beautiful white fragrant flowers. The flowers are just small like that, and because of their smallish leaves, they're a very good thing for a medium-sized hedge. Like a medium-sized hedge or screen, they're probably one of the best magnolias for screening, and they're one of the best magnolias for putting on a big show of white flowers, and one of the best magnolias for fragrance. So fairy white magnolia, $34.99 down to $24.99, 1 metre tall. Now, if you've got a terrible neighbour and you want to not look at them anymore, here's the answer. This is Photinia Robusta, and these are out. They're 12-inch pots. I'm 1.8, so you can work out they're probably nearly 3 metres tall, at least 2.5 metres tall. At any rate, for a 2.5 metre tall Photinia, they're basically an advanced size. They've been reduced from $69.99 to $59.99. So $59.99. Now these can grow nearly a metre a year. So with a spring, plant these, give them a good feed, and with the spring growth, you will not believe how big and luxurious these will become. And the Photinia is the one that gets the beautiful red foliage in springtime, so you can make a beautiful, colourful hedge. But if I was wanting to knock out, and these will grow in clay, terrible soil, lack of water, whatever, they need plenty of water and fertiliser to get them growing real quick. But once you've got what you want, you don't really have to do too much to them. But Photinia Robusta, I don't reckon you'd find a better way to block out an ugly nuisance neighbour than these ones here at $59.99 and nearly 3 metres tall. Photinia Robusta, $59.99, 3 metres tall.
Now this one looks like a good sale, a good offer coming up, Chris.
Right. Okay. So here we've got Portuguese laurel in 12-inch pots, beautiful bushy ones, normally $139.99, and we're kicking them out the door for $49.99. So $49.99, $49.99. Portuguese laurel. Now Portuguese laurel, very classy looking hedge, no red in it. It's a beautiful deep green. It shapes well, it looks really classy, you can bleach it, it's a very versatile, wonderful plant. Takes the frost, takes terrible frost, takes heat, takes drought, very, very hardy, beautiful, fast growing hedge, and these ones here are only $49.99.
Fantastic, so $49.99 down from $139.99.
Yeah.
And they're very good looking plants.
Now here we have a 12-inch pot capital pear, normally $110. This is only $79.99, so $79.99. These have beautiful white blossom in spring. They have beautiful autumn colour, and they grow tall and skinny. So if you want one that doesn't sort of spread out or grow too wide, and if you plant a row of them, you'll be amazed. They'll all grow the same shape, they have the same coloured foliage, same blossom, same everything. Very sort of uniform in all of their aspects of their growing, and these ones here are only $79.99. So $79.99, and you're really getting a very sturdy, advanced tree. Great for the farm, great for the country property, great for your house in town. Tall, narrow, capital pear, $79.99. Now, if you wanted to bleach your ornamental pears, wonder what the best pear is. The best pear is a Manchurian pear. Now, Manchurian pears are beautiful, or if you wanted a spreading shade tree on your farm, or a spreading tree that will arch over the driveway on your farm or your country property, Manchurian pear is the go. And these ones here, normally $49.99, are only $39.99, and they're 2 metres tall. So $39.99, bare rooted, 2 metre tall Manchurian pear, and only $39.99. And Manchurian pears are a beautiful spreading ornamental pear that have fabulous white blossom and amazing autumn colour. So here we have your Snow Maiden. Your Snow Maiden 7-inch pot, and they are normally $24.99. These are only $19.99. Now these make a beautiful hedge, beautiful feature, frost hardy, heat hardy, poor soil hardy, and fabulous white blossom in springtime. So a beautiful, beautiful bushy hedge, Snow Maiden, reduced from $24.99 to $19.99 for nice big bushy Snow Maidens in 8-inch pots. Now, Thuja fastigiata, this is a fast-growing evergreen, great for hedging, great. It goes in a beautiful shape, fast-growing evergreen, fabulous hedge. And what's great about this is that there's a few diseases around that affect some cypresses, but this looks like a cypress, but it's not a cypress. Actually, if you rub the foliage, beautiful fragrance. It's actually commonly called Western Red Cedar, but these are fast growing. You can make beautiful green hedges that don't get any of your cypress diseases. They love good soil, they love a bit of water, so they're a little bit tenderer than your average cypress tree, but given good soil, good fertilizer, plenty of water, very, very fast growing, and beautiful, luscious, rich green, sort of an emerald green colour, but very, very disease resistant, really, really disease resistant. So a really great plant for making a hedge. And these ones here have been reduced from $12.99 to $6.99. So $6.99, and they're good size. They're 50 centimetres tall. At $6.99, you can't go wrong. I'd plant these 1 to 1.2 metres apart, and you'll grow a beautiful hedge in good country with a bit of water and fertiliser.
Now, Chris, if people have just tuned in, and we're sort of 78 items into our sale already, don't fret. The live stream will actually be, the recording of the live stream will be on YouTube after we finish today. So you can go back and watch what you missed out on. And the links all apply. The QR code will still take you to our sale page.
And you can go there, and there's a whole page of all these specials. So so what you've got here is Thuja Smaragd 13-inch pot. Thuja Smaragd 13-inch pot was $99, now $69.99. Now this is a few years old, and it's a great start. Now, if you want to get a sort of a nice topiary cone look in your garden, I did a garden design the other day. We're putting these on either side of all the stairs, so these could be used as a sort of a highlighter in the garden. And they don't grow too fast. They don't grow too big. They love a bit of a trim. They don't get too many diseases or problems. Very hardy, very easy to grow. They like good soil, and they like a little bit of water in the summer. But Thuja Smaragd reduced to $69.99 for a really nice size Thuja Placata there. Now, one of the top selling hedges, people these days are looking for a hedge with a bit of a difference, and this is a luscious leafy hedge. This is a beautiful fast growing hedge, easy to grow it almost anywhere, and it has a few qualities that other hedges don't have. It grows very well under other trees, it grows very well in the shade, and it grows very well in competition with other trees and plants. So it's quite a tough little thing. Needs a little bit of water, needs a little bit of fertilizer to really perform, but if you planted these and looked after them properly, you could grow this into a 2-metre hedge in only 12 months from this size that you see here. And these ones here are really good size. Often you go into nurseries, they want $20 for them, but they're only sort of like a foot tall. These are nearly 3 foot tall, and they are reduced from $24.99 to $19.99. So $19.99 for a beautiful sweet viburnum. I plant these about 90 centimetres apart if I was growing a hedge, and they'll make a beautiful hedge. They have a white flower in spring, and they've got those luscious big green leaves, and they're only $19.99 for beautiful big plants. Look at the size of that plant there. So $19.99, sweet viburnum. Right, so here we've got the deal of the day just about. These ones here are Weeping Lily Pilly in 8-inch pots, and they are if you subtract the pot off there, 1.6 metres tall. Weeping Lily Pilly, we talked about that just before. Weeping Lily Pilly doesn't get that beetle on it. It can get a psyllid, but once established, little birds move in and they eat the psyllids, and these will form their own little ecology. And I've never seen a problem with these with bugs on an established plant. If you had a bad psyllid attack when they're young, you might spray them once, you might spray them twice, but once established, these will be never a problem with bugs, and they're beautiful. People like weeping lily pillies because weeping lily pillies only have white berries, so if the berry falls down, it doesn't stain your brickwork, and it has almost no berries, and if they do fall, you get a white berry, and it has, a lot of people don't like the red or purple new growth on lily pillies. This has light green new growth with dark green established growth, really no bug problems, and these are enormous, and what's amazing about these is the best thing, even if the bugs ate them, they're so cheap, they're fantastic. They're $19.99 and pretty much bug free. Weeping lily pillies, 1.6 metres tall, $19.99.
And Chris, if you wanted a nice lush hedge like is in the presentation, how far apart would you plant those?
If I was pleaching, I'd go 1.2, and if I wasn't pleaching, I'd go 1, so 1 metre.
Beautiful.
Now, look at this colour here. I want you to look at this colour. Oh. Look at the colour here. Look at the colour on this maple here. Now what you've got here is a purple maple. And normally purple maples are almost unaffordable. They're normally, purple maple, give me 100, give me 200, give me $300. They're normally quite unaffordable. This one here is this is an upright one. It's going to grow 3.5 metres tall. It's going to grow in a beautiful van shape. But if you've always wanted a nice purple maple and never been able to afford one, here it is, an upright Japanese maple, normally $69.99. This is $29.99. Have you ever seen a red maple that cheap before?
No, I haven't.
$29.99. So we're really true to what we've said, and we're making it affordable. Now, what's interesting, our local council, like you drive up Barry Road up here, they love this maple here. This is a campestria, an Italian field maple, and they grow it as a street tree around here, and it's a beautiful small maple, never gets too big, lovely compact maple, lovely fine foliage. I love the golden autumn colour, but if you had a farm or you had some tough spot where, or maybe a petrol station, you want a couple of nice golden maples out the front, Acer campestria, you can't go wrong. And at the price, look at these are 1.7 metres tall, reduced from $36 to $14.99. So $14.99 for an Italian field maple. Maybe you're Italian descent and you want to get that Italian feel into your property. So Italian field maple, and they're $14.99. Great for a hedge, great for an avenue. If you want a compact maple that's tougher than tough, an Italian field maple for $14.99. And here you've got your Japanese maple. Japanese maple, these ones here are 1.5 metres tall, and they are reduced from $16.99 to $12.99. So $12.99, beautiful Japanese maple. And so you can have a fabulous Japanese maple in your garden. This particular one's going to have green leaves in spring, green leaves in summer, and then it's going to go every colour, red, yellow, orange, gold in the autumn. So great for autumn colour.
That was for the plant, Chris, not for you.
Oh, right, sorry. So here we are. Now, we said this was the most affordable. Now here you've got a grafted maple. It's 3 metres tall, beautiful spread on it, and it is reduced from $3.99. Now you'd expect to pay $500 or $600 for a Senkaki maple this big, but $3.99 would be cheap. But we're not doing it for $3.99. We're doing this for $299. So if you rang up and you bought one of our $2 privets along with this, you could get a free delivery over most of Victoria and have this fabulous advanced tree delivered to your door. Spend $300 and we deliver over most of Victoria. And this is a Senkaki maple. Senkaki is the one that has the beautiful red stems in the winter. It has sort of golds and oranges and pinks, all beautiful, and then it has a hint of sort of pink in the springtime when it takes off in the spring. So wonderful, wonderful grafted maple, 3 metres tall, $299.
Now, Chris, I know that this is one of your favourite, but this should be a viewer favourite today because this is an extraordinary price.
Right, okay, so what we've got here, everybody knows that your October Glory maple can be very, very expensive. Here we've got a beautiful ones here. They're 1.5 metres tall. Look at the colour on that leaf. You can have this fabulous autumn colour in your garden every autumn. This is a fast-growing, hardy tree, and it's reduced from $49.99 to $39.99. 1.5 metres tall. You've got a really good start at $39.99.
Okay, Chris. So I've got a question here from Ruler, and I think Ruler is talking about the Acer palmatum, the Japanese maple. She was just asking, how big does it grow?
Around, in ideal conditions, maybe 5 metres, but around Melbourne, 3.5, 4 metres. Like around Melbourne, 3.5 to 4 metres, but probably 5 metres up in the Dandenongs or something like that.
And just to clarify for Ruler, because she's asked about the $16.99 maple, it was $16.99. That maple is $12.99 now, Ruler. So get in quick if you want one.
Yeah, that's right. Beautiful. But well, how much was it? $29.99 for a beautiful red leaf one. That's red leaf in spring, summer, and autumn. You can't go wrong. Red leaf and $29.99. Now here we've got a Jeffers red maple. Now Jeffers red maple colours a little bit earlier than a normal red maple, and this is coloured and dropped its leaves. And this one here is a good 2.5 metres tall, and Jeffers red is hardier than any other of the really red maple. So really, really hardy, your Jeffers red, and it's 2.5 metres tall, reduced from $199.99 to $79.99. So $79.99 for a beautiful Jeffers red maple.
All right, Chris. Now that one, sorry, I apologise everyone. That was the bargain of the day, I think. The $199 down to $79.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, Ruler has asked, is there a maple tree that is smaller in size than the Acer palmatum that you were talking about before?
Well, you'd go for a grafted palmatum, like you'd go for something like a Shana or an Anaba Shadare. If you came in, we'd have 100 different sorts of maples in stock right now, and a person could help you choose exactly the right maple. Yeah,
fantastic.
But interestingly enough, I remember my mum had a bonsai palmatum, and at 17 years of age, it was only about 60 centimetres tall.
Great.
So the Japanese maples, you can keep them small.
Yeah.
And here's another small maple. This one here's a Callie's Gold, and it's quite big to start with. Now your Callie's Gold has reduced from $49.99 to $26.99. It's 2.5 metres tall. It's bare rooted. So bare rooted is a great way to get a big tree cheap. And I mean, if you came down here, we've got quite a range of bare root quite early in the season. And this one here is a Callie's Gold, has beautiful, dense golden foliage and never gets too big. So a lot of your golden trees never get too big. So Callie's Gold, beautiful golden tree, never gets too big, doesn't do anything terrible, doesn't suck or do anything bad. And Callie's Gold reduced from $49.99 to $26.99. Yeah. Now I was driving in the country this week, and in lots of places around Shepparton and Seymour and that, I saw sensation maples. And sensation maples, if you're in those country areas, a lot of people are using them up driveways, they're using them as street trees. And the reason why they use the sensation maple is it's really, 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 really tough. You can grow it almost anywhere. Neglect it, it'll still grow. But the thing with it is it starts to colour in sort of late January, early February, and they're colouring right through till now, and they're probably going to colour for another 3 or 4 weeks before they finally drop their leaves. So I guess the person who discovered it sort of just realised that it was an absolute sensation because it coloured for so long. So sensation maple, very, 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 very long autumn colour, and it's a fast-growing, tough tree, beautiful spreading maple. So if you wanted a spreading maple, where I often use them is when people come in for a garden design and they want a really fast-growing tree for the kids to play under, for them to have picnics and things under in the backyard. Sensation maple is one of my fastest because it doesn't ultimately get too big, but very, very fast-growing, beautiful spreading tree, lovely erect straight trunk on it. So this, if I was after a really fast shade tree, and then with the bonus of great autumn colour, I'd go for a Sensation Maple. And this one here, 2.5 metres tall and $26.99. So $26.99 for a Sensation Maple.
Well, how's this for timing? Because Kelly Henschke has left a comment on Instagram saying, what would be a good tree to provide some shade for kids to play under that doesn't get too big?
I reckon you couldn't go wrong with a Sensation Maple, and we can do bigger ones, but that one there, 2.5 metres tall, $26.99. Put it in, water it, fertilise it. You'll have beautiful shade for the kids in no time.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Now here we've got a wonderful thing. We've got some people grow dogwoods for flowers, and some people grow dogwoods for stems. And here you've got a red stem dogwood and a gold stem dogwood. Now in garden designs, I'll often put these two together, and in a big garden you can clump them. You can do a whole clump of red ones and a whole clump of gold ones. Beautiful contrast. And this particular golden one has a variegated leaf, multicoloured leaf, but beautiful, brilliant red stems and lovely flowers and that. These have beautiful flowers and foliage in the summer, but they're great. They're great for winter, and it's great to have that you, and if you plant 2 or 3 of them together, you'll just get a massive red stems, or 2 or 3 together, you get a massive gold stems. So red and gold, and these are sort of a rarity. In most nurseries you'd be paying $50 or $60. We normally sell them for $29.99, but right now, this week you can get them for $19.99. And I did one garden design, I called it a winter garden, and I used these dogwoods as the main feature. Then I used interesting coloured grasses like your orange sedge, and I use all different coloured foliages and that, and the people have come back and shown me photos, beautiful, and these were the centrepiece for my winter garden, was your coloured stem dogwoods. Now you want to see something really crazy, here it is.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. This is a crazy dogwood. Now what this, not crazy dogwood, crazy filbert. And what this does is that this, and this is a rather a special one. In the old days, they used to sell crazy filberts where they grafted them onto a hazelnut, and the problem is the hazelnut would be sucking up everywhere. This one throws up suckers as well, but the suckers are more crazy filberts, and you can chop them off and give them to your friends for Christmas.
So floral arrangements too, yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, well, what happens, you've got a photo here, actually, we might show you that. We've got a photo here of these on the label. Imagine this in a pot, or imagine this in a flower arrangement, and they do this in end of July, beginning of August. They get beautiful long catkins on them, and the catkins hang down through the curls in the wood. Now this likes a bit of a sheltered spot. I'd plant this in a spot that's out of the hot afternoon sun. And this is a bit of a rarity, and it's an extra rarity because it's very hard to get these where they're on their own roots, and when they sucker new ones, whereas normally they sucker ordinary hazelnuts, and they can be a bit of a nuisance. So this crazy filbert reduced from $99.99 to $79.99. It's a metre tall. This, if you picked a spot that wasn't too hot in the summer, this could make a beautiful feature in the centre of a small garden, and it's going to grow up about my height, and it's going to grow nice and fat, and you can harvest some of this beautiful twisted wood in the winter and do flower arrangement, and then if it throws up any suckers like this at the base, you can dig down at the base and chip them off and give them to your friends. So crazy filbert, 13-inch pot down to $79.99, and great for flower arranging, a really interesting garden specimen. Now, if you've got a little unit or flat, don't buy this. This is what's interesting. This I planted this in this pot in springtime, and it was only about 2 foot tall. So and I was looking, there's one growing next door to my son's house, and it's just going berserk. It's just growing everywhere. And you see these in parks, and you see them in places, and they have trunks that are sort of like 2 meters thick, and they spread right out. But if you've got a country property or a farm, and you want to have something amazing to sort of sit with, and you're planning an extended family, and you want to have 30 or 40 people all sitting under one tree, say 20 years from now, this is your tree.
Yeah.
So this you can have a whole extended family all sit under the one tree with picnic tables and be comfortable and spacious. Fabulous spreading tree. It needs a bit of space, but wonderful tree. And this is a Moreton Bay fig, and and they're normally very, very hard to get a Moreton Bay fig. This one here has been reduced from $2.99 to $1.99. So $1.99 for a Moreton Bay fig, and they're beautiful, luscious, healthy specimen. And give this some space. In 20 or 30 years, you'll be amazed what you've got.
It's a great climbing tree.
Yeah, one of the best trees for climbing.
Yeah.
Because it has sort of horizontal branches. So wonderful tree. If you've got a little unit or flat, don't plant it in it.
Now, Chris, Jessie Takes Flight is on Instagram, has said, oh my God, they love the Moreton Bay fig. Where can they find them, and do we sell them? Of course, we've got them today.
Yeah, we've got them today, and we do sell Moreton Bay figs, and we can deliver a Moreton Bay fig almost anywhere. They are hard to get Moreton Bay figs.
But you need the room.
Yeah, you need the space. Yeah.
And sorry, Jessie Takes Flight has said, are these real plants? Absolutely.
Of course, yeah.
Chris is real too.
Yeah. Or unreal. So here we have a beautiful, this is one of your best golden trees. Some of your golden trees have suckers and get bugs in them and do all sorts of things. If you want a really trouble-free golden tree that doesn't grow too big, it's a sunburst Cladizia. This one's bare-rooted, and so you save big. Like it's 2 meters tall. One of these, a 2 meter sunburst in a pot's normally $200. This one here, bare root, is only $39.99. So you can come in, you can afford to plant a whole avenue with them at $39.99. So sunburst Cladizia, $39.99.
It's another great shade tree.
Yeah, now what we've got here is we've got a couple of different magnolia varieties, and in season, in flower, magnolias can set you back big time. They can be 50, 60, 80, $100, but we've got them here, and this one here is Leonard Messel, and it's a beautiful pink, and it's one of those spidery sort of flowers. It has sort of, it's not like that, it's kind of like that, so it's a spidery flower. I probably should give you a close look at it. Spidery flower. And anyway, these are normally $17.99 with us in a 6-inch pot. $17.99. Beautiful pink spidery flowers. And anyway, so you got your Leonard Messel, and you don't pay $17.99. You're not going to pay $17.99. These are $11.99. So $11.99. They're going to have flowers this spring. So $11.99. You're not paying big bucks for a magnolia. So $11.99. They're 70, 80 centimeters tall. Beautiful, strong plants. They've got buds on them, and it's a great idea to get in and buy your magnolias before the magnolia season, because then people sell them for big bucks and people snap them up for big bucks. But right now, you've got a magnolia for $11.99. Now here is an all-time classic magnolia. This one is called Rustica rubra, and basically the one that flowers first around Melbourne is Solangiana early pink. Now this one here is a cousin of the early pink. It comes on a little bit later, but basically how Rustica rubra differs from the normal Solangiana. First of all, you just see, look at it, it's a beautiful strong plant. They're only 1 year old, and they're a metre tall, beautiful strong plant. But the thing with them is that they have their flower is like a tulip flower, and it's a bigger, stronger flower with it's very white on the inside and quite a beautiful pinky mauve on the outside, fairly rich in colour, and it's a lovely spreading tree and has lots of really big flowers on it. Probably one of the most beautiful of your old-fashioned classic Solangiana magnolias. So Solangiana Rustica rubra, and these ones are going to set you back $11.99, reduced from $17.99 to $11.99, a metre tall. Fabulous buy if you want to have a classic magnolia in your garden. So what we've got here is Magnolia Solangiana. Now this is your classic magnolia. When most people come in here and say, I want one of them magnolias that flower at the end of winter, this is it. So this one here flowers at the end of winter. The flowers are kind of like fairly pointed, almost candle-like when they first come out, and then they open, and it's got lots of purple in it and a bit of white and pink. It's fragrant. This is a fast-growing, tough magnolia with beautiful masses of beautiful, beautiful flowers. And this is your classic. This is your all-time classic called a Solangiana. And when most people come in, they want one of those spring flowering ones. Solangia, and a great time to buy one is right now, because these are only $11.99. So $11.99. And by next, not this spring, but by next spring, these will be covered in beautiful flowers. And what they love is a bit of manure, fair bit of water, nicely dug up bit of soil, and $11.99 for a Solangiana magnolia.
Now, Chris, Elsie's tuned in on Instagram and has asked, do we have to frequently change soil for the magnolia? And I think that advice you gave about the soil you have is never as bad as you think it is, and the soil that you buy in is never as good as you think it is probably something we should talk about.
So what I would do is I'd dig a nice big hole, I'd mix some potting mix through it, I'd put some osmocote or fertilizer in it, and I'd be in business. Now here we have, this is interesting, this magnolia here. If you wanted a magnolia there was a big bush or a small tree, this is it. A lot of magnolias grow quite big. A lot of people feel they can't fit a magnolia in your garden. This one here is called a Magnolia stellata, and basically it's a star magnolia. The flowers, instead of being like this, the flowers are like this. I might give you a look at that. At any rate, this is a branchy bush, and it gets absolutely covered in beautiful star, and this is actually going to have a few flowers on it this season, but the flowers are fragrant. They're really beautiful, and they're just like a star. And this is not a tree. This is just a big bush. It's a star magnolia, and it's a big bush, not a tree. So there we are, star magnolia, and $11.99.
So we just got the last few items to go before we wrap up for the day.
Yeah. So what we've got here is a Lombardy poplar. Now your Lombardy poplar, this is your tall, narrow one that has the beautiful golden autumn colour, and it grows in a beautiful tall column, very, very tough, and it grows really, really tall. This is great for your country property, great for your farm, great to put up a driveway, beautiful along the front fence. So Lombardy poplar, and these are reduced from $26.99 to $16.99. Now what's amazing about Lombardy poplars, if you put these in and you keep the grass and weeds away from the bottom, pump them with water and fertiliser, in 2 years' time you could have this up 7 or 8 or 9 metres tall. Very, very fast growing, and beautiful tree, and you have that fabulous golden autumn colour. So if you put these up your driveway and you pump them with water and fertiliser, keep the grass and weeds away from the bottom, you will absolutely transform your whole property in no time with Lombardy poplars. Great property transformer. Now what we've got here is we've got a set of pots. Now these pots are great for indoor plants. I was actually looking at my indoor plants at home, and I think I'm going to pop some of them in these, because these don't have a hole in the bottom, so they're not, you don't need a saucer. They're not going to have a look. They've got no hole in the bottom. See, no hole. And so basically, say you had a plant like this and you had it in the house, what you could do is you could give this a good soak in the kitchen or laundry trough, and then let it drip dry, and then pop it in here, and it's not going to drip onto the carpet. You're going to keep your carpet nice and dry because these have no holes in the bottom. But if you wanted to use these outside for normal application, well, what you do is you get the drill and you drill a hole in the bottom. So you could drill a hole in the bottom of these if you wanted to. But have a look at them. These are really classy pots. Now a big pot these days is normally a couple of $100. Here you've got 3 pots and you're only paying $129.99. So $129.99 for 3 pots, and one of them is really, really big. It'll fit a 40 centimetre pot in it. So the biggest one will hold a 40 centimetre pot, the next one will hold a 30 centimetre pot, and this one here will hold a 25 centimetre pot. So you can put 3 big pots in these, and it's a beautiful, beautiful lime finish on it, sort of a cement lime finish, lightweight, easy to pick up and carry, and these are $129.99 and get the whole set of 3.
Now Chris, we have had a question on Instagram asking, do those Limecrete 3 sets come in a different colour? And I think the answer to that question is no, they don't. But
any colour you like, as long as it's Limecrete.
Yeah, not a. But there are other. We do have other colours, but they just don't come in a 3 set.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a whole yard full of pots in every colour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got the Limecrete ones do come in an antique rust colour. They also come in a black colour, and you can buy them 3 different sizes We just don't have them all bundled together.
Yeah.
Just the white ones are bundled together.
Yep, that's right. Okay, so now, so if you've watched this, you've seen that there's plants at crazy low prices. In fact, this is our most affordable sale ever. And what's going to happen is that you could buy these today. You can ring up, you can come in, you can look at them, you can buy them, you can load up your car. And if you spend over $300, you've got free delivery out as far as Traralgon, up as far north as Shepparton. But we actually deliver over a wide range, but we charge a little bit for it. And the staff can fill you in on, you say you want it in Lakes Entrance or Sale or somewhere like that. A staff will tell you how much it costs you to get out there. But the thing is that you can buy this online, you can buy it over the phone. It's real easy. We've got 3 or 4 people to answer the phone here today, so you can buy it online. And then we put these up for sale. There's only limited numbers of all this stock, and it's for sale until it sells out, or until 12 o'clock next Saturday. And then 12 o'clock next Saturday you can tune in and we'll have another fabulous sale full of all different bargains. We'll have 100 bargains for you to buy for your garden. But this one here is a great one to shop because this is your most affordable ever. There were so many things at $5.99 that would normally be $10 or $12. It's incredible. So if you've got a big garden project, I think that this could be the best ever to do your big garden project.
Wonderful. Now we've got some comments on Instagram. Sylvia has said, "Well done, Jody." Thank you very much. I didn't know if anybody knew who I was. Now, if anybody has tuned in late, we're at the end of the live stream now. But after today's live stream ends, you can re-watch it anytime on our YouTube channel. You can catch up on anything that you've missed. There were 100 items on the list today. You can place your order, as Chris said, at any time. And don't forget, we go live every Monday for our Q&A live stream, where Chris will answer all of your questions about plant care, garden design and more. And from Chris and myself, thanks very much to Anmol and to Suman for carting all of the plants and pots in today. And also to Jennifer and to Mickey for keeping the live stream on track.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks guys.
Thanks guys.